I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
And good morning. If you can see me on the screen, hallelujah. DTE says there are 500,000 outages, power outages, in their service area in the Wayne County area. And Consumers Power, further south around Allen Park, Lincoln Park, and those communities add another 200,000 without power. So somewhere around 700,000 households don't have power, and this is unprecedented activities. But if you happen to be on a streak of luck, like I am at my house over on Littlefield, we still have power over in my block. So if you're able to watch the broadcast today, I'm so happy. My name is Maureen Taylor. I work with the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization. This is my newest scarf. First time I've worn this one in a while, so I've got tones of brown on today, right, to match my skin color. This is the weekly broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights. You know what we do, 868-0342, 868-0351, or 868-4336 at Welfare Rights every Friday. We try to bring the best and the smartest and the brightest people to give information for folks that may be low income or moderate income and may need a pathway out of some problems that they may be having. So a lot of things going on right now. And so we got a call a week or so ago from one of our special guests and indicated they may have had a little time this morning. So as always, we invited one of our special people in Wayne County, in Michigan, in America. We've invited the wonderful and always giving and informative Wayne County Treasurer, Mr. Eric Sabree. And Mr. Sabree, thank you once again.
Thank you, Maureen. Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Well, let me just give a couple of opening remarks, and then we'll ask our dear treasurer to fill us in. I'm eating candy, if you're wondering. We have, I heard on TV yesterday, not the first time I've heard this, that the additional food supplement amount that the governor has been making available since about 2 years now during COVID, that those dollars will end in just a few days. At the end of February, that little supplement is going to go away. And that's going to really hit low and moderate income people very, very hard, because we all have somebody that moved into our back room, and that's called cousin inflation. The cost of a dozen of eggs, the cost of a loaf of bread, the cost of milk, everything, the food especially, is going up. DTE is talking about a rate increase, and we want to choke them about the things that are going on. And so it's just so difficult. We're at the, in March, we'll be looking at the third year of COVID. And for weeks and months now, Mr. Treasurer, you've been talking about some of the housing programs that are available for folks to access. And, you know, just before the show started, I lament, like I always lament, like if Marion is here, what choking people, what is taking people so long to reach out to these programs that are available to us in Wayne County? So, Mr. Treasurer, give us your opening remarks in terms of the programs that are available for folks that live in Wayne County to help with, and then give us a list of what
Okay.
those things are.
Thank you.
Thank you again for being here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on on the food issue real quickly. You know, the farm bill that's being that Senator Stabenow is working on very diligently, because she's chair of the Senate Agriculture Committee. You know, she was saying that farm bill is a $1 trillion budget for the farm bill. It's a $1 trillion issue, and $750 million of it is for the SNAP program.
Wow. Okay.
And this is what she's fighting for, food
Okay.
for people who have food insecurity, and this is a big deal. So just wanted to bring that up. That's a big deal going on in Washington, and it means a lot.
It
If
does
that bill
now.
gets passed, we
Yeah.
have to get that farm bill
Okay.
passed.
Good to know. Okay.
But anyway, as far as property taxes, right now we're facing a deadline March 31st for people to get into payment plans and pay their property taxes.
March 31st.
It's only a month away, a little more than a month away.
Yeah.
And we have several things that people can do. Number one, if you're an owner-occupant of a property, you own the property and you live in the property, you should apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund. This is a fund that's federal money that the state is administering to those who are impacted by COVID. And most of us have been impacted by COVID. If you had a decrease in your income, increase in your expenses, illness, then you should apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund. How do you do that? You can simply dial 211, and it will connect you to the state number, which you can say you want to apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund, or abbreviate it MIHAF, M-I-H-A-F. This is a simple thing that you can do. If a person is a new applicant, they have not applied for this before, all they have to do is apply for the program, and they'll probably be taken out of foreclosure.
Now,
Let me
say
one
that
more
again, Mr.
Yeah,
Trish.
I want to say that again. If you're a new applicant, you haven't applied, you know, they didn't deny you last year, or you didn't receive funding from last year,
Never done this before.
and you owe 2020 or prior taxes, then all you have to do is apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund. Get an application in, give us the number, and your property will be removed from foreclosure for this year. That's very simple.
Very, very simple, and I'm going to insist. Now, Tim, did you hear that? Okay. Was anything about those words that our treasurer used, anything convoluted or confusing about the English that he just spoke?
Okay. Just make an application. Last year we had 373 people who could have saved their properties by just applying for this program.
Oh, no.
So we just got to get the word out.
And what happened to those 370 some odd people?
Property got foreclosed.
That's ridiculous. That's just that's beyond ridiculous. That makes no sense. You want to get a shovel, Mr. Treasurer, and start to beat people over the head. It's wrong.
You know, we sending out text messages. We're going door to door with. We have some nonprofits helping us. The city of Detroit is helping us, and all the communities. I sent them the list of every property in their community in Wayne County that's facing foreclosure, so we can get some help. And we were trying to get the word out. Now, what if you don't qualify for the MIHAF? But still, all you have to do is make the application, and then because they're not going to make the decision before March 31st anyway.
So all you have to do is make the application.
Right. This is if the owner-occupants, homeowners, people who own a home and live in a home. Now, if you live in a house that is, maybe you're living in a home of a deceased relative or someone.
I have a lot of those calls. Yep.
That person can, all they have to do is go to file a probate case.
Okay.
With the probate court. And you don't have to have a case number. All you have to do is show that you actually made an application. You can go to 3 entities and get free legal help. United Community Housing Coalition. That's United Community Housing Coalition.
963-3310.
All right. Lakeshore Legal.
Don't know that one by heart. Lakeshore Legal. Okay.
And Michigan Legal Services.
Michigan Legal Services,
So-
964-4130. Okay.
Okay, so those 3 I know are free attorneys that will help you get your case into the probate system. Once you file a probate case, your property will be automatically again removed from foreclosure. So no reason to lose a property if you're in a house that you don't own, and maybe your uncle, aunt, mother, father, passed away, and you've been living there paying the taxes, but you're falling behind. If you want to save that property, file a probate case, and once we know that it's in probate, it's going to automatically be removed from foreclosure. Those two things that all you have to do is make an application for.
Mr. Treasurer, I'm dumbfounded. I don't know what else to do to get members of the community to step forward and do something. You're opening the door, and you're not keeping a crack. You're opening the door wide and telling people, make application. 4 syllables. Make
Make the
application. That's all you have to do to at least give you some time and get you some assistance so that you can get your property off the foreclosure list. What is wrong, Detroit?
Also, the
Hamtramck, Highland Park. Come on, y'all.
Inkster, Eco,
Yes.
River Rouge, all of those are large cities with large foreclosure. Taylor has had a lot of properties this year.
People don't believe that.
Yeah,
People don't believe that blind, blue-eyed people fall behind on their money just like everybody else.
Yeah, Taylor, Redford Township,
Oh,
a lot of communities.
Okay,
struggling.
okay.
But, the other thing is
that's
you can get
crazy.
into a payment plan just like in the previous years.
Mm-hmm.
Come and see us, get into a payment plan. You have to make an appointment to come into the office. It's very simple. You go to our website, treasurer.waynecounty.com.
.com. Mm-hmm.
That's treasurer.waynecounty.com. We have Saturday hours through March. We started last Saturday, and every Saturday through March, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make an appointment. We'll see you on Saturday. If you come to the office without an appointment and it's not crowded, nobody's in line, then we'll let you go in.
Well, I know that's the
But
case
if
because
you-
Marion found you in the hallway a couple of hours ago.
If you come in and it's busy, everybody's making their appointments, then you have to wait
Yep.
to see if somebody doesn't show up, or you have to come back. But it's better to make the appointment just to be safe.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I don't understand. I don't understand what else the treasurer has to do to get people involved. Now, for a long time now, when the Welfare Rights broadcast comes on Fridays, your commercial is just before we show up. And so for a long time, we have been talking about the importance of accessing some of these programs. Right. You can call Welfare Rights because I know people are going to be apprehensive. If you want to call in now and ask any questions, 868-0342-0351 or 4336. You can call while we're on the air now. This program is going to be rebroadcast. I'm going to ask RJ to rebroadcast it more than the usual amount of times. But you can call us at Welfare Rights, 313-964-0618, 964-0618, so you can get information, because I know, Mr. Treasurer, somebody's going to call, and they're going to say, well, I don't know if I qualify after you've already said what to do. I don't know if I'm going to qualify, and call us at Welfare Rights so we can tell you you have to call so you can determine how to get the help.
Also, we have to check on our seniors in our community.
Oh, boy.
If you have family members, elderly, especially if you're living in the city or Wayne County, go and check on them and make sure that their taxes are paid. Because sometimes people, if you're not feeling well, you're not paying attention to the bills, you're not paying attention to anything. So you're in and out of the hospital, or you're just not feeling well, then those things are not important. Bills are not important.
That's right.
So a lot of times people just ignore these things because they're dealing with something that's more important. They're dealing with their health.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So I just say this because the reason I mention this again and again is that every year,
Our elders.
after we get through foreclosing and selling someone's property in the auction, somebody come in, say, my mother's house got foreclosed. And we didn't know, and would have taken it out of foreclosure had we known.
Yeah.
So it's just,
every year.
we don't wait until it's too late.
Every year. Every single year.
We want to catch these properties before.
My goodness. I've got 2 cases that I'm working on right now, and neither one of them are about mortgages, but to just underscore what you're talking about, our seniors and our elders get off track. I've got a lady, 83 years of age. She's been married 46 years to the same man. He passed away in May of last year, unexpectedly. No COVID or anything. I think he had a heart attack and was gone in seconds. So since May of last year, she's been living in a house where she's paying rent. And the rent was $1,100 a month. The landlord increased the rent a couple of times since May. Now, I think in January, started to be $1,500 a month. She's behind for January. She's behind for February, and has received just Thursday and Friday, yesterday, received a eviction notice. 83 years old, about to be put out in March. We're looking for a place for her right now, looking for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. My goodness, and this is the state of things, and here we have a champion of the people who is trying his very best, got people working on Saturdays. I mentioned this when we were getting prepared this morning. The treasurer, it was a while back, scared me, came to my door on a Saturday morning. I'm trying to sleep, and somebody's beating on the door like the police. It's the treasurer, wondering what's the problem here, and why haven't you responded to these letters we've been sending you? And I apologized at that moment. Okay, it's not going to happen to me again. The treasurer is already sending out a team, and folks are going door to door. I don't know what else anybody could ask for. I don't know what else. If you have a home and it's in foreclosure, and I know about this, everybody has been affected by COVID over these last 2-3 years. In March, just a few more days, we will be approaching 3 years involved with COVID. And if you lost income, if you were laid off, separated from your job, something happened and the money you used to have you didn't have, Mr. Treasurer, I remember those early days of COVID, and I didn't know what I was looking at. But I knew this was horrible. And within that first month, the national news was most Americans didn't have $400 in the bank. I remember that. And then on TV, they were showing folks waiting in line for the food boxes. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
And the lines were not around the block. The lines were miles. And Americans who had been skating on credit cards and I'll pay you later and all of that. None of that was working because people were separated. That's who he's talking about. You lost something there. That makes you eligible to at least apply.
Just think about it. Just think about this, Maureen.
Remember
Some people have spent a lot of money for medication, for medicine, even though, for those of us who have jobs and health insurance, and we spend some money maybe for medicine. But there's other people out here who don't have all of this. They're spending a large amount of their income for medicine, for medication.
True.
So when things get tight, it affects their health as well.
It's going to get worse.
And it affects them. So this is considered a hardship. It's considered a hardship, not just losing your job. But all of these things, it has a ripple effect. It
does.
Domino effect, where they say once one thing happens, it just starts affecting everything. So
and that's a hardship.
It's a hardship, and we have extensions too in our office, a hardship extension. That if someone owes the 2020 taxes and they, for some reason, they had illness.
2020. That's when this mess got started.
It's getting foreclosed foreclosing on the 2020 taxes. So they can have a hardship. Health issues, financial hardship, they can come in and get an extension for another year. So that's another thing that we can do. You have to be an owner-occupant. We don't have programs other than payment plans for landlords. That's the only thing we have for landlords, people, business owners, is payment plans. But we also have a hardship application for them. They can stretch out their payments for 2 years instead of 1 year.
2 years.
If they have a hardship. They own less than, I think, 5 or less properties. So if you're small, the small landlords are the ones that are hurting them the most because some of them haven't received rent money
for a long time.
And we're trying to work with them as well.
I don't know what else. 868-4336 numbers are on your screen. 868-0351, 868-0342. The COVID nightmare started around February and March of 2020. So, Mr. Treasurer, what you're saying is that if in that first year, because I sure didn't know what I was looking at then, I knew something bad was happening. I remember the first time it was on TV and they were showing convalescent homes, nursing homes in Seattle. and people were dropping dead. Remember that?
remember
the
that.
nurses and
I had
aides
COVID.
taking
I
care
had
of them.
COVID in February of 2020.
You were one of the first ones that got sick,
And I didn't even
there
know
were
what
no
it was.
vaccines.
I didn't even know what it was.
No, you didn't.
I was out for 8 days.
Oh my goodness! Did you have to go to the hospital?
By the time I went to the hospital, it was almost done. They said, "Oh, go home and just take some Tylenol, go to sleep."
You
And
lucky to be
by the
alive.
by the time I went to the hospital, it was like done. Then I got it again.
2 times you had
I had
COVID.
it twice. I had it twice. But the second time I had been vaccinated, so it wasn't that bad. I was like just sick, like I had a cold or the flu. But I still tested positive for COVID. So I said,
Oh
okay.
my goodness! You lucky to be
So I
alive.
had twice.
All right, because in February we didn't have any vaccines. We didn't know what it was. We had no clues, and we were all watching those TVs with the nurses' aides and whatnot, taking care of people going home. A welfare check happens 2-3 days later, and there's the healthcare provider on the couch dead.
You know,
you remember? Boy,
I remember
was
that.
woo.
You got right now. I mean,
Ooh, Lord.
2 weeks ago we had 2 of our employees test positive for COVID. So it's still
It's
out
still
there.
going on.
It's still out there.
Still going on.
Still out
Still
there.
going on. My goodness, my goodness. You know, I don't understand the treasurer and the word. He knows this stuff. You know, I can talk about it with bravado and gusto, but he has the details and he's telling you what to do.
See,
Make the application.
Let
Go
me
ahead.
say this: we have
crazy.
money available right now. This is the time. You know, I'm a part of SEMCOG, Southeast Michigan Council of
Michigan
Government.
Council
You know,
of
I'm a
Governors.
vice chair of SEMCOG. So we go to Washington every year to talk about things that Southeast Michigan needs. Once a year, we visit all the members of Congress in Southeast Michigan, and every single one of them, when we met with them, said, "Spend that money that we sent. Spend the money. If you don't spend the money, they're going to try to take it back."
They're gonna take it back.
Say people are looking right now at who's spending the money and who's not spending the money. So here we say, is money available?
Makes my chest burn
Help
to hear
you
that.
save your homes. Take advantage of it. We're promoting it as much or more than the state of Michigan because we know the money's there and we want people to use it. We've already helped 3,200 people with the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund, $12.4 million that was spent. But there's a lot of money left. There's money, you know, the My Have program will help you if you're behind on your mortgage, your property taxes, your health, your utilities. I'm talking about water, electric, and gas, as well as your homeowner insurance and
Too
your
much.
cable bill.
Too much.
All of this money is available through
You have
the
to just
Michigan
make
homeowners.
the application.
So I'm focusing on the taxes, of course. That's
See?
my
Yeah.
area. But the money, the fund is going to help people with all of those things I just mentioned.
I'm going to ask the third party person. Tim, anything that the treasurer just said that could not be understood in plain English?
Plain as the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
The engineer says plain English was just shared. There's no reason if you speak English as your primary language or secondary language.
If you speak Spanish and Arabic,
here
we
we
have
go.
a translator. Everything's translated, and it's out. Our literature is out there.
I don't know what else you can ask for. He said mortgages, back taxes, utilities, cable bill, all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I have had at least 20 people in members. Some are members of welfare rights, and most are not because welfare rights people hear this kind of information. They quickly go and follow suit, get involved in the process. But at least 20 folks, probably 17 of them that are not members of welfare rights that have called. I've explained, here's the number to call, here's what you do. Everybody I've sent got help. There have been no rejections. Everybody I sent. And you know by the time I reach you, some of those cases are just crazy. Mama passed away 12 years ago. The grandmother lived there. Something else went wrong. This one's got a broken leg. That one got something else wrong. And I sent them to you. And a week or 2 or 3 or 4 weeks later, my folks call me back. And they say, Maureen, we got a hold of the treasurer's office. They called us. They fixed it. I remember the one I sent you had a stroke and was in California and talking about my house is under foreclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the information. He in a hospital out in California. I sent the information to you, to Miss Tiffany and some other folks. By the time he got back, They were out. The house was out of foreclosure. He took his little SSI money and made some payments, and you all took care of the rest. He was 3,000 miles away, and you helped him.
If people contact us, we can find, usually
Understand.
most of the time, I think 90% of the time, we can find a way to help them save their property. If we talk to them, if they communicate with us and follow through, you know.
I can attest to that because I have tested this system so many times over the years. I don't understand. 868-4336, 868-0351, 868-0342. Talk to me about, there are a number of programs that are going on, and I don't know if you have seen this or if you're part of this, low-income housing being built. And low-income housing being built, these are renters, and folks are managing. And the low-income figure that they use is $600, $700, and $800 a month, and that's not low income to me. Okay. I've had several discussions with folks. Welfare Rights is looking into bringing some folks from HUD into the city and to have a town hall meeting. And we're going to ask you, I'm telling you now, we're going to ask you to be one of the guests that listens to the problems that residents in Detroit, Wayne County are having, so that the folks in HUD can listen. These barriers to accessing low-income housing. And with that, I want to caveat over into this one other issue that I'm now seeing. I got folks, Mr. Treasurer, that are calling me saying that they have Section 8 certificates or vouchers, and they're using them to purchase properties and have used, the Section 8 payments have been going in on a monthly basis, and they're getting behind on mortgages and property taxes. Do you see that coming through your office lately? I'm just not seeing this.
If the taxes are part of the mortgage payment,
Yes.
then we don't really usually see that, because the mortgage company, what they'll do, they'll pay the taxes just to save the property, and that they won't let it go to foreclosure.
I've got 2 or 3 cases in the last 2 or 3 weeks that are like that. Okay, and that's unusual to me.
Yeah.
I've not seen this before.
Usually the mortgage companies step forward and say, they'll find out about it, if they find out, which they usually do, unless they're a terrible company. And there's some of them out there.
Some of them out there.
They find out it's in pending foreclosure, they'll pay all the taxes. And then they'll go deal with the person who should have paid them.
Okay, I've got and all the 2 or 3 cases that I have like that, they're all in Highland Park. So all right, heads up, because something may be going on there that we're not familiar with. We'll take a moment, take this call.
Okay.
Good morning, caller. You're the first caller of the day. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning to you and your guest.
And good morning, that's the Mr. Sabri, the treasurer is here.
Sabri, yes.
Good morning.
Mr. Sabri, good morning. We do see a lot of issues dealing with housing, especially with the new projects that's going up, and they use the word game, affordable housing, and we're finding out affordable housing is in thousands, is like from 1,100 to maybe 3,500 just for rent. So we're concerned, and I think, Maureen, you told us a long time ago, and then we didn't pass Proposal P, that these developers was going to do just what they're doing, and they're taking over the low-income properties, and now they're starting to throw their rent up $200 or more, where people were paying $600-700 rent. They're going to have to start paying $900 to over $1,100 for rent.
Yeah. We're starting to see that down at the Welfare Rights Office, where the definition of low income is not my definition of low income.
Well, they're calling it affordable housing, which means it has nothing to do with low income. It has a lot to do with how much you can afford to pay, how high is your paycheck or your annual income.
Yeah. Truth, well spoken as usual, caller. Well
Thanks for
spoken.
taking my call.
All right, dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All righty. 868-4336, 868-0351, 868-0342. Mr. Treasurer, there was a time when there was a online activity and your staff, yourself, a lot of people lined up to make telephone calls to your office and ask specific questions. Does that still happen anymore?
We have to ask the treasurer
Yeah.
Zoom call.
Uh-huh.
We do it once a month, but,
Okay.
but we're doing it every Wednesday now through March.
Whoa.
We did it
Okay.
last Wednesday. We had
Okay.
340 people on the call.
Okay.
And we try to answer questions so that everybody that's listening can hear the same answer.
Yeah, okay.
And then know what to do. Yeah.
Now, are you getting on those calls? Because that's the second largest group of calls that we get at Welfare Rights.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody living in property, and the mom or the dad has passed,
Right.
and they haven't. They've been paying taxes, or they have not been paying taxes, so they've been paying partial taxes. Would you give that information again about the probate?
Okay.
Okay.
What has to happen in order for that property person who's living in that property to become the owner? They have to go through the probate court, and the probate court would decide as to who gets the property. Because sometimes there's many family members, siblings, and they have to go and make sure that everybody's involved. Either sign off on it, or they go to court and contest it. But if that process is completed and the person who's living there actually gets title to the property, then they can take advantage of all these programs. So they need to file a petition with the probate court. And you have to do it online now. Since COVID, all the activities are online. So I have always advised people go to the United Community Housing Coalition, Lakeshore Legal, or Michigan Legal Services. If you can't afford your own attorney, they'll do it for free. And they'll help you with the probate process, so that once you file that probate case, just let us know at the treasurer's office, and your property will be removed from foreclosure. And you can relax until the probate court decides what's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Another case that I know you're involved with. I thought this one was over. There's a what would you call it? There's the General Baker Institute over on Livernois, and it's a museum, a historical site of labor and organizing activities that's been going on in Detroit and in Wayne County for decades. And 2 or 3 or 4 separate parcels, and someone categorized it as business and residential. And we got you involved. You took a look at it and sent some things over to the city of Detroit. And there was some discussion back and forth, and somebody from the city came out, took a look, and said, "Oh, this is not residence, this is not business." And I thought it was finished. Well, the same set of foreclosure notices showed up about 2 weeks ago. Same identical things. Are you able to, once we gather up all these notices and whatnot, we're going to send them over to your office and have you take a look at them and give us some advice on what do we need to do. There's something going on with the city, and even though they sent somebody there, and it's not fixed yet. What do you think about that?
I think, what happens a lot of times, the paperwork doesn't get, the decisions they make, the paperwork is not together. They're still sending out things to us for nonprofits, for instance, tax-exempt properties that should be tax-exempt. The city is still assessing them every year. So we get the delinquent bill, and most people don't even think that they should be paying at all. So a lot of times they don't pay the bill. Sometimes they don't get it. Sometimes they ignore it. But by the time when we get it and we start sending these notices out, it's a year old at least.
At least, yeah.
And then the best thing to do is contact us. Then we'll get with the city and make sure, for instance, it doesn't go into foreclosure while all this is going on.
Okay.
And the same thing goes for water bills. These water bills, people, a lot of times they're disputing the water bill. If you're having a dispute with the water department and they put the taxes on to your bill, most of the times this is only happening with commercial properties. In residential property, the city doesn't do that right now. They're not putting the water bills on the taxes, but they could, but they're not. The commercial property owners are getting these water bills, huge water bills, and they're disputing these water bills. So if you have a dispute going on with the water department, all we need is evidence that there's some back and forth correspondence, and we can remove it for a year while
Okay.
it's going on. Because sometimes, see what happens, the water department, they send the bill over to the city treasury, and then they send it to us as part of a tax. And once we get it, when we borrow money for the revolving fund, we give them their money in advance, and then we collect the debt. So the water
Okay.
department shows a zero balance. You go over and you look at the bill at the water department, it says
Shows zero.
because they sent that bill to the treasury.
Already, yeah.
So they already got paid for it. So they're not really in any hurry to do anything. So
They
that's-
got paid, yeah.
They already got their money. So now, in order to reverse that, it's going to take some time. So we usually,
Okay.
if people have a legitimate dispute with the water department, then we take that property out for a year while they're trying to work it out. So they don't get
That's
foreclosed
good.
in
That's
the
good.
meantime, because it takes time. All these, have to go to hearings and back and forth. Sometimes they lose, they're going to have to pay the bill. But if they,
But at least you get the
at
time.
least you get the time while it's going on.
Okay, that's so critical
But
to
they
hear.
can't just come and say, "Well, I'm fighting the bill." We got to see some
Yeah, proof, something.
some correspondence back
Yeah.
and forth.
Okay. All right. Let me give you another scenario. This one is close to my heart. I got this family. I'm a social worker at my school, and this lady has 3 or 4 children, and she bought a land bank house, sight unseen, from Alabama, and she gets up here, and she's paid whatever it is she's paid to the land bank folks, and there's no hot water tank, there's no furnace. And I've forgotten there's something else that's not there. So she's there, spent all her money on the land bank purchase, all the rest of the money for traveling. She's got minor children and they're in school. And now this is her house, and she's trying to figure out what to do because now the taxes are coming up, and she doesn't have a lot of money. I said to her, this is February. I said to her back in November when my house was all over the place, call the my house people. Oh, they're not going to help me because this is my property. So you don't know what anything is going to do. What you know now is that this land bank house that you bought, and now none of these things are there, you need a respite. You need some kind of a time to work through the properties. Now, did I give her the right advice? Call the treasurer's office, say something, do something so somebody knows what's going on?
Certainly. And the other thing I want to mention too is there is an exemption program at the city. The HOPE program, homeowner property
yeah,
exemption.
yeah, I remember
If your
that one.
income is low, very low, and we talk about low income,
Mm-hmm.
if you have very low income, you can qualify for an exemption, property tax exemption. It means you don't have to pay property taxes at all. This sounds like a candidate for an exemption.
That's what it
And
sounds
so
like to me.
she should apply to the assessor's office for an exemption.
Okay.
And if you have back taxes, there's a program still in place called Pay As You Stay.
I remember that one.
And that
Pay
will,
as you stay.
That will extinguish most of those back taxes that you already have. And if you live in the city of Detroit, the Dan Gilbert Foundation
in
was
Detroit.
paying off the balance. So if you get qualified for an exemption and you have delinquent taxes, you can end up with a zero balance. And that's all you have to do is, again, apply.
She's got to apply.
You got to apply. You have to go through the process. And when the people ask for documents, you have to submit them.
Yes.
You have to follow through.
Okay. Well, whoever that is, they have some questions. Call on the air, 868-0342, 868-0351, or 868-4336. Whoever that is calling me on my phone, call the station. You don't have to be afraid. I'll take the call. Okay, I know that's what that is. All right. Land bank. So I heard this before, that if you purchase a house from the land bank group and it's your house, that you're exempt from paying taxes for a number of years. I question that. I never heard that before.
I never heard that before
Yeah,
either.
okay, that's somebody's wishful thinking. You don't have
Yeah,
to pay taxes.
I never heard that.
Yeah, I don't think that that's the case.
The only two
myself,
people
yeah.
that don't have to pay property taxes if they qualify, well, there's three groups. Tax exempt nonprofits.
Okay,
That
would be General Baker Institute.
Religious
Mhm.
institutes, nonprofits out there, people who are 100% disabled from the military, veterans. 100% disabled veteran can apply for an exemption, no property tax.
What about these?
And low income. The third is low income.
And low income.
Yes.
What about we get seniors that call us, and we send them to the treasurer's office. And seniors always call and ask us, what is the way to get to the program where seniors are excluded from having to pay taxes?
Well,
And I hear that a lot.
There's nothing in Michigan that would exclude seniors from paying property taxes. In some states, They have, like I think Georgia, where my aunt lives, she said when you turn 75, the taxes were reduced drastically.
Okay.
And when you get even 85, it even goes down further. Mississippi has that. I don't know about, I think Alabama also has that. But some of the southern states I know don't tax seniors as much or at all.
Okay, but there is no program where seniors are exempted from paying taxes.
There's nothing in Michigan that will exempt you from paying taxes.
All right, now seniors that are low income, what should they be doing to get information on taxes?
Anyone that's low income. You could be 21 years old on low income.
Okay.
Or you could be 91 years old on
Okay.
low income. You have to apply to the assessor's office for an exemption, for a low income, a property exemption.
Okay. All right. Everything that the treasurer is talking about so far starts off with a conversation that says you must do something. You have to apply. You have to apply yourself. You have to pick up the phone. You have to make an appointment. You have to, I say Marion did not make an appointment. That was a few years back. And she was downtown for something else. And she says, she called me and she says, I'm going over to Sabri's office. I said, well, you make an appointment? No, I'm going to look for him. And she came over to your office and was sitting there having a conversation with whoever and looked up, and there you were in the hallway, and she got your attention.
Just happened to be there, though.
Yeah. And you told her, come on. So I know that help is available, and we need to apply ourselves. I don't understand Wayne County. I'm talking Inkster, Redford, Detroit, Highland Park, Hamtramck. People are eligible for help. I had a woman with a very strong accent year or so ago, called the welfare rights office. I picked up the phone. It was on a Saturday. Good morning, welfare rights. And she gave me her name and whatnot and talked about her tax problem. Something was going on with some COVID that her family had been involved in. The husband was very sick and ended up with long COVID and lost his job. And she wanted to know if people who were living in Hamtramck that were not natural citizens could get help. And I told her, ma'am, I don't know of any preclusion. I don't know of any barrier that anybody has ever said to me that says if you were born in another country, you shouldn't apply for help here, especially after you've become a citizen. I never heard of that, so I gave her the number, and as far as I know, she never called back. She got help. There are all of these thinkings that people get involved in. Well, I probably can't do it because I'm a veteran and maybe I don't apply. Or I have 6 children and maybe I don't fit the criteria. Or I have one leg shorter than the other and maybe I don't fit. I don't understand all of these reasons, and they call us.
Let me add a couple things too. The veterans, healthcare workers, and first responders. We're talking about EMS, fire, police. All of them can enter into payment agreements in our office with no money down. That's been going on for 3 years. If you're a veteran,
what are you going to say?
Healthcare worker, first responder, you can get a payment agreement with no money down. If you're an owner-occupant, you own a house.
Yep, and you live there.
You live there, yeah.
That's crazy.
You can get into that. And the Veteran Services, which is on the 4th floor of 400 Monroe, we're on the 5th floor. They have money that they're paying, helping veterans who are about to lose their homes. They have money, too. In addition to my half, they have funds that will get the person out of foreclosure, buy groceries for them, help to get their car fixed, build them a ramp if they need a ramp for a wheelchair.
Really?
All that money is available through Wayne County Veterans Services Office on the 4th floor, 400 Monroe.
I hadn't heard about the ramps because we get that call for ramps all the time.
So they're doing a lot, and they're doing more and helping people because we're getting the checks. We're seeing the money coming through from the. And it's not a check, but it's a transfer, from their department to our department, paying for veterans' taxes. So I know that's going on.
868-4336, 868-0351, 868-0342. We're only going to have the treasurer here about another 10 or 12 minutes if you have something specific, because I've got a few more questions I'm going to ask him about. But if you have something specific right now, we want to hear from you. You're not going to get this chance he's gonna hit the lottery in another couple of weeks, and one of those $1 million lotteries. And he's gonna take his wife, and they're gonna go to the Bahamas or someplace, and then we won't be able to have him. We won't be able to talk to him unless we call him long distance. He's here today.
It won't happen because I don't play the lottery. See?
Oh, well, me
See,
either.
I'm never gonna win. I'm never gonna win.
It's hard to win
hard
if
to
you
win.
don't play.
That's right. Well, that's the same thing we say to the taxpayers too. It's hard to get help if you don't contact.
If you don't contact somebody, my goodness. Okay, Detroit. All right, now, Mr. Treasurer. Okay, I talked about. I don't want to forget this. There's a building, 644 Martin Luther King Boulevard, and it's a People United is one is the nonprofit. And they own this building. I'm on the board, and it's Plaza One Apartments, and it was constructed, financed, and built by homeless and low-income people. We had to go through the whole process to get things to happen. And now they are starting to become behind on property taxes. Now, that's a business. I sent them over to, over to Accounting Aid Society and look at the folks over at Accounting Aid, and I think the appointment is not coming up until this week. Did I send them to the right place, go to Accounting Aid, to figure out who might be able to help them organize something around their back taxes? It's an apartment building.
Well, that's a good start. What about the water department? Do they have back water bills?
You know, I don't get along with the water department too much. You already know that part already. Yeah. Yes, they've got backwater bills. Yes.
That can always be a big problem.
Yeah.
Because those properties.
Now, Sarah, we got them involved with Sarah.
Oh, good.
And the Sarah people did come through, and several tens of thousands of dollars came forward to help with the backwater bill and whatnot. So, but go ahead.
That's important.
Okay.
I'm just saying the water bill can be a problem if because they'll put it on the tax bill, then we'll get it.
Yeah.
So we have to know if we get the water bill, and say for instance it's a nonprofit, and you have some taxes, but you're being taxed because you're renting it out.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a business. So you're gonna get taxed. But we need to know if it's huge amount is the water bill, then that we can look into that.
Okay.
But I think you're on the right track. You contacted Sarah. You got some Sarah funds, and
Send them to Accounting Aid.
they could get into a payment agreement if
You
they're
know.
behind with us.
Okay. Oh, I
The
didn't
interest
even,
rate is very high. The tax, the state laws, the interest rate is 18% a year. So
That's a lot.
if you're not a owner occupant of residential property, then your interest rate is going to be 18%. But if you're an owner occupant of residential property, you can reduce your interest rate to 6%.
Okay.
So that's a big difference.
It is.
18% is a lot of money.
Okay.
That's like a credit card,
Big time credit card. Okay, well then I send them to the right place. Go to Accounting Aid and get some detailed information there. But I am going to ask him to call down to the Treasurer's Department and have a different kind of a discussion to see what other kind of help may be available. Caller, you are on the air. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. We're here with Treasurer Mr. Sabri. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, I am a Vietnam vet, and I get 100%, and I owe some back taxes.
Okay, say the first part of that again.
I'm receiving 100% disability, and I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I have back taxes that goes back
Veteran,
17 years.
100% disabled.
Have you applied for an exemption?
Not yet.
Okay, wait a minute. All right,
No,
I'm getting ready to reach through this phone and grab you by your throat. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, do you know how to apply? And you said you're 100%
Right.
disabled and you're a Vietnam veteran.
Yes.
All right. Do you know how to apply?
No.
Okay. Hold on. Do you have something to write with?
Pen in hand right now.
All righty. The treasurer is going to give you information. Now, as soon as you get these back taxes and everything handled, I like Lay's potato chips, the 99-cent bag, and just drop it off down at Welfare Rights. You understand what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Hold on. The treasurer's
Okay.
going to answer your question.
On what you need to do is to go to the assessor's office, Coleman A. Young Municipal Center. It's room 804. Now, Room 804 is sometimes not open now because of COVID. I'm not sure when they're open. But on the first floor, there's also an office called with the Board of Review, Michigan, the Detroit Board of Review. And they can also take your application for an exemption because of 100% military disability. And so I would do that. And also while you're there, ask them about the pay-as-you-stay program, which does it apply to you? If you're income qualified, that also may help you get rid of those back taxes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're income qualified. But if not, you can also get into a payment agreement, or you can apply for the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund and get rid of some of the back tax. What years do you owe? What years?
My last was 2007 was the last time I worked. So, for that 1 year. I was always current, but then they changed the regulations during my retirement. When I filed taxes, I ended up owing them money.
Did you get a? We're talking about property taxes now, right?
No. Working.
Are you talking about income taxes?
Income tax?
See, we're talking about two different
talking
things.
about property tax.
I'm talking about property taxes. See, I don't have.
Now for income taxes, what you want to do is you want to call the Accounting Aid Society.
Okay.
Okay, and they're down on 2nd and West Grand Boulevard. I don't know the number by heart, but call there. And if you're having any trouble, you can call us at Welfare Rights, and we'll help you even if I'm mad at you because you waited to the last minute. And I'm going to forgive you for that. So, but you can call us at Welfare Rights, 964 0618.
618.
Okay, 964-0618, and we'll help you walk through the processes.
Cool.
Okay, now let me ask one more thing. Mr. Treasurer, you talked about, and I didn't know that there was a veterans unit on the 4th floor in your building.
Yes.
All righty, should this person, thank you, dear, should your should this person be contacting the veteran services to see about other benefits?
Veteran services on 4th floor of 400 Monroe. I don't have the number memorized, but it's Wayne County Veteran Services.
Okay, caller, are you hearing this?
Yes.
Wayne County Veteran Services. The Treasurer's Building is on Monroe Street downtown. Do you drive?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you know where I'm talking about, where Sweet Georgia Brown used to be there?
Fishbones.
Fishbones.
Same
Yes,
building.
I know Fishbones.
Okay, in the same building. And what I didn't know that there was a Wayne County Veteran Services outlet in his building on the 4th floor.
Service outlet. Oh, that's so cool.
Okay, you should show up there and tell them, look, you heard this on WHPR, and I'm here to find out what do I need to know. So you can get that and tell some other veterans, okay?
Right. And your name is again?
My name is Maureen Taylor, and I'm sitting next to the Wayne County Treasurer, Eric Sabree.
Cool. Eric Sabree.
Sabree.
Sabree. Gotcha.
All right, caller.
Thank you, both of y'all.
All right, so glad you called.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you now. Ooh, Lord. 868-4336, 868-0351, or 868-0342. Okay, call us. We've only got 4 or 5 minutes left.
So he was talking about income tax.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, her taxes
He's
in
her
there
tax.
was the key.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that
Well,
was
at
the
least
key.
he called and checked it out. Yeah.
And got some information.
Right.
But I'm really surprised because I didn't know that there was a Wayne County, Tim, you're a vet, Wayne County Veterans Services on the 4th floor. I may have to come down there myself and take a look at what they do. I didn't know that,
Talk
you know.
with them.
All right, we've got about 3-4 minutes left. Mr. Sabree, as always, you know how I feel about you and coming down here. Tell us again what is most primary. That March 31st deadline stuck out to me. So tell us a little bit more about that so people can hear
People need to contact our office. You can call us 313-224-5990. It's 313-224-5990. You can email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. That's TAXINFO@waynecounty.com. And go to our website, treasurer.waynecounty.com. Now, here's what at the website you'll find. How to make an appointment. Very simple. Go to the website. It says make an appointment. You go there. You can do it on your phone in like 3 minutes. And we have Saturday appointments now all the way through March. There's a payment plans available. We have the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund that you can apply for. They have also the exemption. If your income is very low, you can apply for a property exemption. Mm-hmm. And if you have back taxes, those taxes will be extinguished for the most part. If you live in Detroit, it'll be down to a zero balance. And
he said zero balance.
Zero balance. And
zero.
If you're having a hardship, financial hardship, you've been sick, taking care of a sick relative, whatever financial hardship or health issue you have, contact us because we can help you get an extension for 1 year. So the main thing is the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund, because they've been paying 2019, 20, 21, and 22 taxes for those who qualify. And they're trying to, they're debating whether they can go back to other years. They're looking into that right now.
My goodness.
Because the money's available and we want to use it. We want to take advantage of it. Why would somebody lose their home now? And when all the money, we're never going to see this much money from the federal government
Never again.
In our lifetime. And I know in my lifetime I won't see it.
Never again. So, and we're talking about a March 31st deadline.
Yes.
You have to do this.
It's a statutory deadline. It's the law. It's not something I'm making up. It's the state law, and the treasurers have to follow. We have to follow the law. So that's important. Get in touch with us. Contact us. Don't be afraid that you're going to lose your property by calling us.
If you don't contact them, you're going to lose your property. Thank you. I got it. Give that number one more time.
313-224-5990. 313-224-5990.
Stop fooling around. Marion is not here today to talk nice to you. My name is Maureen. Stop fooling around. There's no more time left. It'll be March in a few days, and at the end of March, that's it. That's it. Stop fooling around. Taxes, mortgages, utilities, cable bill. You don't know. They might call. You should call. They might help you find a date. You don't know what they're going to do.
People say, well, why would they pay the cable bill? Why would they pay broadband service? You know why? Because a lot of children can't do their homework if they don't have internet access.
That's why.
You can't do your homework. If you go home, you don't have internet access.
Can't do your homework.
You have to go to the library. You have to go to some public place to do your homework.
Half the libraries are closed.
So here you go.
Lord have mercy. All right. If you missed anything on this broadcast, and again, we'll ask RJ to repeat this several times over the next couple of days and next couple of weeks, because March 31st is what the treasurer says is a statutory deadline. Not him. This is what the law says. So you have 30 days to get this done. Stop fooling around. Call us at Welfare Rights 313-964-0618 to get any additional details. Sometime in March, we're going to try to get the HUD folks here and talk about this a little bit more. But don't fool around, sisters and brothers. If you live in Wayne County, do something. Last thing I'll say, if you live in Oakland County or Macomb County, call the Sabree office and find out where you need to call somebody else. Right. Please don't fool around and don't lose your home.
We'll put you in touch with the treasurer's office wherever you live.
How wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to the end of our broadcast. We've had a very special guest. He is so beloved to Welfare Rights and to so many of us. I want to say thank you, Mr. Sabree, as always, for coming on.
Thank you, Maureen.
And hanging out with us and whatnot.
My pleasure.
Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll be back next Friday. Up until then, come on, Mr. Sabree.
Wave.
Goodbye.
Right. I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabree. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help. Bye.